ko hoku he ngoa, ko Ravindo Hunia. Welcome to UFC on Sky this week from Perth, ahead of UFC 305 this weekend. Now, the main event for this card features our very own Israel Adesanya, who will be vying for that middleweight title once again, this time against the current champion, Dricus Du Plessis. Now, I had the pleasure of catching up with both of them, and here are their thoughts.
There's not enough adrenaline.
First of all, Izzy, great to see you back in the mix. Fight week again. How are you feeling being in amongst another fight week again?
I'm feeling calm. I'm feeling resetted. I'm feeling refreshed. I'm feeling chill. And yeah, it's a nice, refreshing pace. Yeah, I've missed this low key. So yeah, and I know the game's missed me.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about that, because before Sydney, leading up to that, of course, your movie, docu-series had released. There was a lot going on for you at the time, you know, a lot more than I even know what was going on. So when you talk about how busy you were, you know, what have you learned from that situation to now?
It was a learning curve. You know, I took my time off because life forced me to, because 5 fights in 16 months as a champion, the camps and everything was just too much on my body. So I'm glad I took my time off. And again, I feel reset, I feel refreshed. And now it's time to go again.
Yeah. Preparing for this fight, I know there's a lot that comes with it in terms of, you know, everyone's talking about, you know, the rivalry and what's been said and everything like that. But for you yourself, how are you feeling at this point compared to fights you've prepared for before?
I feel very good. I feel amazing because of the revamp in our camp, in our schedule, the time off, you know, healing my body and just removing myself from the game gave me that hunger again that I missed this. So, and also I miss having this kind of purpose in my life.
Yeah, how important is that aspect of it, being the human Israel Adesanya as well as the fighter?
Yeah, I mean, people know about the style bender, but they don't really know about Izzy. So for me, I had to look after Izzy so I can be the best style bender I can be.
This week, I know you come into a fight, you want to win, but what does this fight mean for you? What are you fighting for this weekend?
This weekend, I'm fighting for myself. I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting for my team. I'm fighting for those who love me. Like, the amount of love I've tapped into, I've focused on. People don't even hate Dricus. Not everyone does. But, like, people just are rooting for me. They're like, man, I really want Izzy to win. I really want him to win. Because they feel me. I'm feeling that, and I'm tapped into that. So I'm fighting for them.
I have to say, Boss and I were watching the UFC countdown. And we're like, okay, what's going to be the narrative of this countdown this time? You know, they draw out the story and it sets the pace for the rest of the week, right? But it really felt like they did a good job of honing in on that representation of he tangata, the people, and that you come to the stage, and Dricus too, as a fighter individually, but there is a whole host of people that you represent behind you. And I think they painted that picture pretty well.
Yeah.
About what, you know, being from Nigeria and your lineage and all of that means to you. Is that something that's, you know, with you in this one? I know it's with you every time, but
100%.
More so.
This one, again, the amount of people from South Africa, even like if I look at the messages I get, they say like, man, I really want you to win. You know, he has his people that want him to win, but they're my people too. And they root for me. And sometimes, I even had an Uber driver who said, man, there's a white South African, and he said, brother, when you guys fight, I feel like no matter what happens, I win. And I felt that. I was like, yeah, you win because you seen two of Africa's finest at the top of the game, headlining. I'm fighting for my people, and not just people from Africa, worldwide, those who support me. Like, I am more than my country. I am more than any flag.
There's so much mana that goes into a statement like that. And, you know, people look up to you. And I feel like I'm not saying that you haven't embraced it before, but I feel like you are right now.
Yeah, I even told Brando on his birthday when I think Eugene and someone was trying to take him to lunch, he was denying it. I was like, bro, shut the f***, let people love you. Go to lunch. So I had to take my own advice and be like, shut up, just let people love you. Don't just focus on that. So I just let people love me now. And if they hate me, let them hate me. But I focus on the love. So I'm really tapping into it now because that's the frequency, is love.
And I mean, to be along in this journey, I mean, I know Dan and Kai are always around when you're preparing for your fights, but to be here in the region with Dan and Kai, you guys are just, doing so well in your divisions at the moment as well. How much does that add to the experience?
Being in the trenches with them and them really just, we go through it together because we know we have this date to get ready for. I'm just bumping fists, fucking high fives, and it's just energy. Like, it's palpable. And all the boys as well, like Navajo, Cameron, toes them up. They're about to go into Contender Series. It's like a nice wave because it shows that it doesn't end with us. There's the next generation that are about to come through as well and then carry on what we've done. It's a beautiful, and also being in the new gym as well, everything is just flowing really nicely. Like, it's flowing really nicely, and I love that energy, and I bask in it. I really bask in it this time.
Finally, Josh Kulubal made a point of saying that Israel Adesanya has never lost a fight in the UFC as a contender.
Sure.
And I thought, what? Money. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always that, but again, I haven't lost a lot of fights as a champion. But yeah, for me, it's just enjoying the moments now. All we have is now, because tomorrow's not promised. So all we have is now, and I'm trying to really focus on now, and really just like hone in, lock in, and just embrace it. So when it's time to shine, I'll shine. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Well, first of all, Dricus, thank you so much for joining us on Sky Sport. Our show is called UFC on Sky, so welcome back in the flesh this time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's good. Beats Zoom.
It sure does. Look, you're in Perth. You've been here for a little while now. Talk to us about your experiences so far. We have seen you were a part of a Welcome to Country ceremony. How have you taken it all in so far?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've been here for close to today's the 14, 13 days. I've arrived quite a bit earlier. I like to always make sure that I'm everywhere I fight, even if in the US, I make sure I'm there at least 17, 18 days before the fight to make sure I'm climatized firstly and know my surroundings. It's important for me. So I feel comfortable with everything, know where everything is in terms of training, food, where the good stuff is.
Nice one. And look, talking of those different experiences, this will be your first fight as the reigning champion, UFC middleweight champion. So how has preparation been going, knowing that, you're defending the title this time?
Yeah, I mean, defending the title and fighting for the title, I'm not defending that title, I'm fighting for that title. I'm not going to go out there and fight like somebody that's defending anything. I'm going to go out there as somebody that has to take it. As soon as I step into that octagon, the belt is taken away from me, and it's kept by an official. It's not mine anymore. It's the winner of that fight's belt. So for that, whether it be a first round fight or a 5-round fight, for that 30 minutes, while the fight's on, the belt doesn't belong to me. It's a vacant belt for all that matters. So I'll be fighting exactly the same in terms of tenacity, in terms of mindset than I was fighting for that belt. Because in that fight, the belt doesn't belong to me. It's a vacant belt and I'll be fighting to get it.
Yeah, a nice humble approach. I like that. Look, let's talk a little bit about Israel Adesanya, obviously your opponent this weekend. His tenure when he was champion, speaks for itself. You already know that. You've alluded to it and have a lot of respect for it. You've mentioned that before. What is it like, you've worked so hard to come through the UFC, fighting all these fighters, and now you're fighting at the top echelon, and Israel Adesanya is well and truly one of those big fights for your career.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at my last 3 fights, Adesanya included, I fought Robert Whittaker, I fought Sean Strickland who beat Adesanya. I beat Whittaker who fought Adesanya twice, a very close second fight. So in terms of that resume, it makes sense. And now fighting him, it's that's what it means to be at the top of this sport, is to fight the best in the world. And if you look at Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland, Adesanya, that is the best middleweights in the world, just below myself. And fighting someone like Adesanya with the legacy he has built, being considered as one of the greatest fighters ever, not only in the middleweight division, but in the organization and in the fight world as a whole. It's amazing. I mean, it's it makes me so excited because this is just fighting as the champion, defending my belt against a contender in Israel Adesanya is is a tap on the shoulder on how far I've come in my career and what I've achieved. So yeah, it's a massive privilege to be a part of this fight and to build on my legacy.
Absolutely is. And finally, you mentioned that, and so too I think the South African people think that of you as well. I know that when we're watching this vision of how much the South African people, are very proud of you. I know where we come from in New Zealand, there's an exodus happening this weekend, coming over to watch the Springboks, coming over to watch you as well. And I feel like this clash between you and Israel is a lot to do with the people and those that you're carrying with you. So what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at the history of sports, I think it's maybe one of the oldest rivalries and one of the biggest rivalries, New Zealand versus South Africa, cricket, rugby, now in the UFC. It's the first time for South Africa to have a UFC champion. And I don't know how many, but not too many New Zealand-based champions in the UFC either, in the history. So it just comes down to that clash. I mean, we had the Rugby World Cup in 2023, and that final was amazing. I mean, and that was, I was there live. It brings out the best in anyone. So 100% that plays such a big role in how my country feels. And of course, we are very proud, like New Zealand, when it comes to our athletes and backing them and making sure they hear our support and feel it and feel the love. And I have to tell you that that's the only thing I've been feeling from my country. The country is, it's electrifying. My brother and them, they just came in the beginning of this week, and they said when they left there, it's just booming with Springboks and Dricus Du Plessis all over. The people are so excited. The Springboks will be there in attendance, watching the fight. It's a dream come true. It's absolutely amazing to be a part of such a massive moment, not only as a South African or as a champion, but as a sports person, somebody who loves sports. It's a massive moment for sports.
The co-main event is a flyweight bout between hometown hero and rising star Stephen Erceg up against fourth-ranked Kai Kara-France. And for our Kiwi, I soon realised that it's not just about the comeback for him, it's also about the sacrifices he's made to be here.
Well, Kai Kara-France, thank you once again joining us on UFC on Sky. Here we are, another fight week. You're back in the mix again. How does this hit now? Last time we spoke to you, we were working towards this, and now we're here.
Being away from this makes you just appreciate it. Everything that comes with a fight. Fight week, the travel, media, pressure. I just go towards it and I welcome it.
You mentioned that you've been off for a while, a year, without having to weight cut. So how has that part of it been going this time around?
Yeah, we're in a great place, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, just feeling the best I've ever felt. So this week, every day we're getting closer. I feel like I'm doing better on the pads, I'm sharper. My body just knows that it's getting ready to put on a masterclass performance.
Yeah, it does feel different. I've been stalking you guys for a few years and we see you guys preparing for fights and things like that. These last couple of times I've come to the gym, it does feel different. It feels like, I don't know, like another level. I can't quite put my finger on it, but everyone just seems like a little bit more hungry, a little bit more conditioned, a little bit more rested. And obviously you've kind of all been on that journey of taking a bit of time off to come back and do your best.
I think a lot of it is knowing that this isn't forever. Fighting and fighting in the UFC, and there's a shelf life of how long you can do this, and we're all getting a little bit older now, so with that maturity comes a bit of you have to be able to be more intentional of what we're doing. We can't just turn up and think that's enough, because at the highest level it's not enough. And my grandfather Te Aupiki Kara used to have a saying, be straight up and down, no mucking around. If it's close enough, that's not good enough. And that's the kind of mindset you got to have in this fight game.
Final question. I know everyone's asking you, how does this fight go this weekend? Next thing, title fight, da-da-da. But what does this fight mean for you and your journey over the past year?
I think just to get to this moment, it's been massive. Balancing life is definitely challenging. It was my wife's 30th this week. Happy birthday for my wife Sade for yesterday. My youngest's boy Koa, first birthday this Friday. So there's a lot that is on my mind, but it only fuels me. It only makes us even more it means even more to me to know that I have a whānau to support and to provide for. Just it lights a fire under me. So comes Sunday morning, channeling all that support back home, all my tupuna, all my whānau. I'm just going to do them proud and
You got this, bro. Just shows how much this means to you, bro, and your whole whānau. It's not just you.
yeah, sorry, but just thinking of my kids and my wife and just how much I love them and how much this means to me.
If there was one thing you could say to them right now, what would it be?
To my boys, Dad loves you, and I'm always thinking of you for my beautiful wife, Sade. Just, man, I'm so lucky to have you in my life, and just to have you there by my side for everything, the good and the bad, the roller coaster of this life that we have. So proud to be your husband, and ready to get back in there and do what we do best, and I just really appreciative of you in my life. So yeah, sorry, I get a bit emotional thinking about all of this.
No, good on
it
you.
just hits me now, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm human. I welcome this weekend, and I'm in a great place, and I can't wait to get in there and just get it done.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Steve. Cool to have you on UFC on Sky in person this time.
Yes, it's good to meet you in person,
Yeah.
and good to be here as always.
Coming up against Kai Kara-France, he hasn't fought for a little while. I think that's probably the biggest contrasting thing between the two of you is his inactivity compared to, I mean, you've done all of this while he's been off the scene. So do you think this plays into your advantage?
I honestly don't think it matters at all. I think he's got plenty of experience. I think the time off probably did him well. He gets to relax, and I don't know if I'm just hypothesizing, but people do get burnt out at stuff. So having a break makes you realize how much you enjoy things, you get to work on things. So I'm expecting the best Kai, and we'll find out who's better.
I know I keep referring back to Pantoja, but with that fight, how did that best prepare you in terms of the skills and what fight you want to bring to this? What did your preparation look like off the back of that to best prepare yourself for this? What did you learn from then to now?
I have definitely learned that I need to improve some of my grappling stuff. So I feel like takedowns on the legs I've been pretty good at. I've been doing freestyle wrestling for a long time, but some of my upper body defense isn't up to scratch. So I've been working very hard on that. And then, as I said before, I want to push the volume harder in this fight than I did in the last fight.
I know this is going to get a little deeper, meaningful, warm, fuzzy
Okay.
moment, but the inspiration that you're giving to other fighters, especially in Perth. I know there's you, there's Jack Dalla, and there's a host of Australian fighters as well, but just showing that you can come from places like this and be the best in the world if you really want it.
Well, that's exactly the experience that I had last time UFC came to Perth. I got Jack Della and Volkanovski fighting on the card, and to hearing everything, the way they perform, that was inspiring to me. So if I can give back to somebody else and have them build up and look at me like that, that'd be amazing.
And finally, how does this all go down come Sunday morning for you?
We're gonna go out. We're gonna try to beat each other up, and I really think I can make him fall down.
I love how you're saying it so nicely because I'm from New Zealand.
Yeah.
For the first time in UFC history, 3 Kiwis will feature at the top of a UFC card. And despite 5th-ranked lightweight Mateusz Gamrot saying he's going to bring somewhat of a surprise to the octagon for Dan Hooker come Sunday morning, Hooker believes nothing is getting in the way of a win.
Thank you so much again for joining us. Mateusz, welcome to Perth, Australia. You've just mentioned that you've never been here before. How are you finding it so far?
I really like it, this place. I watched waterfall, I saw kangaroo, I saw parrot, so I am happy because before this I only saw this animal on TV. But really beautiful country. I hope back here in the future bring my family here holiday.
You're facing Dan Hooker this weekend. Just off the bat, what do you make of Dan Hooker as an opponent, and why was this the right fight for you?
I really excited fight with Dan Hooker. He is huge name in UFC. He fought many years. He beat really good guys. He is long, he is tall, high-level striker. But this is not Q1. This is gonna be mixed martial art, and I wanna test himself in the ground. Yeah, when I watch Dan Hooker fights, then my heart starts beating faster. But this is only positive vibes. I like it. This like give me extra motivation. Yeah, like I say, this tough opponent, but I coming here to finish him. I coming to Australia, ruin the show.
Yes, you don't have a top 5 opponent, but if you put on a really great performance, that can also put you in line for a title fight too, right?
Exactly. This is not important to fight something top 5 and get the title fight. The most important is entertaining fight, and this fight I wanna show something special. I prepare surprise for him and surprise for everybody in the arena and TV. My camp was really hard. I train in Polish mountains. I train with kickboxing Poland national team, with the best kickboxer in my country, and so everything we show in the cage Sunday morning. I wanna punch him face, take him down, and finish him in the ground.
How pie? Well,
Why is everyone here my mates?
everyone loves you on Fight Week. Look, last time we saw you, were a lot less blonder. So how have these last couple of weeks been for you, building up to what you have been waiting for patiently, UFC 305
Very
Fight Week?
impatiently. Yeah. I have not been patient this entire thing, but I'm so excited. It's been a great last couple of weeks, just with all the boys. The energy at the gym's been wild. To get over here this week, everyone's here as well. They put us up at the Crown Towers. We don't have to stay at this rubbish hotel they got the UFC fighters at. We're at this flash, fancy hotel. Great view. I really have no complaints. I'm just excited. It's only a couple of days left. I'm ready to go now.
Nice. Look, when I was having a corridor with Kai, he was talking about how it just feels different. Like the level feels like it's gone up, and it will happen on Fight Week, he says, but this time it just feels different, that we're on a different level this time around. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, just having everyone here, feeding off each other just makes it so easy to have everyone here doing the same thing. I can't wait for fight night. Like, you can sit there and visualize it. Me getting to go out first and just set the bar for the rest of the boys. It's like, win, lose or draw, I'm gonna put on a wild, crazy fight that's gonna get them pumped up to go out there and do the same. So yeah, we're just feeding each other's energy.
I remember when we were interviewing you about the 10-year special, you spoke about how signing posters is so cool. You know, the environment and the occasion was really, really exciting. Do you still get that feeling now?
Well, it's like different stakes. Like every time you win, you need to, well, yelling in your ear, mate. She made Kai break down into tears, and so I was sitting there trying to do me bloody interview. Yeah, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, what is it? I was like, what are you asking the boys? Rev, keep everyone out of the fields. Did it to huge as well. You can't make me cry.
I cry on laughter, but we're great.
I got distracted. Turn your chair around, or we're just gonna end up talking the whole time.
And look, you've spoken about you're in a nice room and a nice view, and you've got your teammates with you. How much of a difference does that
We've
make?
got fancy cars. We got nice
There you
clothes.
Yep.
Like, you couldn't write this any better. We're getting the superstar treatment.
Yeah.
I'm not used to it, Cobb.
Yeah. I mean, but how does it sit with you?
I'm just a cashed up bogan, as someone called me this morning.
I cashed up. I don't know if there's a compliment or a...
I'll take that. I'll take that one.
But look,
I'm not rich. I'm irresponsible. There's a difference.
we were speaking with Gamrot earlier.
I bet that was fun.
It was
I bet that was interesting.
It was a lot more
Does
quiet.
he speak
It was a lot more-
English?
yeah, I was actually quite
nice.
surprised.
I was like, if we get an argument and I'm at a press conference and I have to speak for a translator, I'm not.
He kept saying that he's got a surprise for you on Sunday. I'm not quite sure what he meant by that he's going to surprise you, surprise fans, that he's come to Perth with a surprise.
Mate, he does the same thing every single fight. How it's not a surprise. This is gonna change his undies or something like that. There's no surprises. There's no surprises, mate.
Just
I
your
think
reaction
that's
to
it.
it. Just your reaction to it.
I
Yeah.
think the surprise is there is no surprise. He knows how to get his hand raised. He knows how to shut fighters down, and he knows He knows when he needs to work to get his name, to get his hand raised. Like the only threat to me in this fight is being my own worst enemy, and that's me getting frustrated with him trying to frustrate me. So it's like this whole thing is just going to be me versus me. Being able to stay calm and avoid losing my temper, which should be easy, but but that little thing's a light switch, baby.
Doesn't take much.
It don't take much at all.
Look, I haven't seen you since you signed your new deal with the UFC as well. So congratulations on that. How did all of that go for you?
Well, it's the benefit of having a manager now is that I don't deal with the UFC directly, so I can't hear all the bad stuff they've been saying about me behind the scenes anymore. Yeah, I'll be probably besides that, the champs and pay-per-view boys, probably one of the highest paid lightweights in the division these days.
Nice. And look, if there is anything that you want to say to New Zealand fans at home, what would that be right now?
Tune in. This is going to be the most exciting fight of this man's career. I'm going to knock his head clean off, boys.
Kia ora whānau, UFC on Sky is on the ground in Perth ahead of UFC 305. The main event features our very own Israel Adesanya, who will compete against current middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis to see if he can get that record and win the title for a third time. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned right here for all your Fight Week updates and exclusive interviews on Sky Sport.
UFC 305 this Sunday.
Live from Perth.
Book now on Sky Arena.
Or Sky Sport Now.
To watch us in action.
Trust, you don't want to miss this.
Tune in. This is going to be the most exciting fight of this man's career. I'm going to knock his head clean off, boys.